toe. Vehicle toe. So this is what, part 3 of my alignment DIY video series. Toe is, it's like your toes. Toe in, toe out. For some reason, toe in is positive, but when you lean the top of the tire in, that's negative camber. Positive camber. Showing how to measure camber, and camber is pretty straightforward. You adjust things, and if you can't get the camber you want, you either have to put components that are not worn out back in the vehicle, or like in the case of the Porsche here, you can only get around 1 degree of negative camber in the front with a stock setup, everything working right. That's all Porsche allowed you to do. You have to either add camber plates on top of the struts so you can move it in more that way, or what works better is the GT3, the 911 GT3 lower control arms, which are 2-piece. You pull it apart, put shims in there, and you can get all the way to 3.5 degrees negative camber. But today's talking about toe. I think I wanted repeatable way to repeatable measure my alignment. And I ended up going with Smart Products, Smart Camber and Smart String, because I wanted repeatability so I could do it, come back to it a day later or a year later, and if my measurement was, 1.2 degrees negative camber and 0.1 degree positive toe, I could put it back on here again. If everything's the same, it would be the exact same thing instead of chasing measurements. Well, I'm going to, instead of doing a how to do toe, and I'm going to have a video about the different ways to make adjustments. But I was going to go over a few things with a Smart String setup. First off, if you're adjusting toe on the front, the steering wheel has to be straight ahead, has to stay there. Otherwise, you got to start all over again. Because your measurements are the back of the tire and the front of the tire. Toe in, this is going to be sticking out more than this, obviously. Well, here's some of the weird things about toe and why toe is more complicated than you might think. On the deuce and a halves, if I have the 900 tires on there, it's supposed to be 1/16 inch, or excuse me, 1/8 inch toe in. So you just take a tape measure, put it in the front of the tire, go to the other side of the vehicle, okay, go here. If the front of the tire is 1/8 of an inch in, it's set, toe in. That's the only adjustment you have on those trucks. And since the steering wheel's never lined up anyway, it doesn't matter. Toe in's toe in. If I put the 1100 tires on the deuce and a half, it's 1/16 toe in, because that's a 4-inch taller tire, and that's how it sets up. That's easy. My first time messing with toe was on a 77 Chevrolet K30 crew cab. I did not know at the time, but I had death wobble on a certain curve on this one road, and it just shook like crazy. Never done that before, but every time I did that road from then on, it did it. And it was a Dana 60 open knuckle axle. I had not known anything at all about the springs and the upper kingpin stuff. I thought my tie rod was the problem, so got another tie rod. I had to redo the toe, so I'd use tape measures and tried to do the same amount of threads. When I replaced the tie rod, put it on there. This is back 40 years ago, and it worked pretty good. Steering wheel was a little bit off, but it was somewhat straight, and it worked. Well, the only adjustment that car had, being a solid axle 4-wheel drive, was toe. This car has rear camber, rear toe, front camber, caster, and toe. You have to be able to get the car, because the independent rear suspension, you have to get all 4 tires facing the right direction. If you've ever been behind somebody and their vehicle's going on the road like that, it's called dog tracking. That's because the thrust angle is off. And so setting the rear toe on this vehicle is just as important as the front toe. And so is the rear camber for the way it drives and the way it performs. This is a performance car. But you have to get everything just right. So putting a level on here and tape measure on each side, or you can buy you can buy them on Amazon, toe plates. You put up against the wheel, there's a little slot here and a slot there for the tape measure. Same thing on that side, run 2 tape measures and, oh, we're perfect. Yeah, but if you get the toe just right, that's not talking about anything with the car. You can get the toe perfect, but it's the tires supposed to be going straight. They could both be leaning that way. The toe's perfect, but the car's going on the road sideways. I did very little. I've done this before on this car, before I did the video. I have done a little bit of adjustment on the rear toe to make it so I have 0 thrust angle. And I was 3 millimeters. I had to adjust the toe on this side. 3 millimeters. That's barely anything. That's less than 1/8 of an inch. But 3 millimeters made it so the noise, the wind noise from the mirror here was different. I think the car was this side kicked out just a little bit, and the wind going through the mirror between the door and the wing mirror was making a little bit of noise, because now the car's quieter going down the road. It's really weird. It makes a difference. 3 millimeters, less than 1/8 of an inch. And that's all the other side was pretty much right on, but that's to make it all square. All right. If you're on the fronts, when you adjust toe, the steering wheel will move unless you have the steering wheel secured. Well, this, I got this years and years ago, spring loaded. It sits on the seat under the steering wheel, or yeah, pops it up, holds the steering wheel. I had this thing on the steering wheel. I was adjusting the front toe. And I had 2 of my little shiny linoleum plates or tiles on each wheel. I was adjusting the toe. I measure, go to the other side, measure, adjust, and I had it just right. I walked around the back, looked inside, and the steering wheel was off to the side. This will not hold the steering wheel if you are using anything besides ball bearing camber plates. That's my experience, because with camber plates I never had that trouble. Using linoleum tile, that's a problem. I've read and heard that if you take a gallon Ziploc bag, spray silicone fluid in it, or a trash bag, whatever you want, and spray some silicone on it and put that under your tires, it will slide just as good as camber plates. I haven't tried that yet, but that's one thing. The Smart String site, and another really good video on this is by FCP Euro. They have a video about home alignment, DIY alignment. They put 2 ratchet straps on the steering wheel. I was like, that's kind of overkill. I got this. Well, no, this does not hold the wheel. I had to redo it. All right. I'm going to demonstrate how to set up the Smart String. I'm not going to show because it's just taking measurements. However, when I bought the setup, I bought their digital, they call this the Smart Toe or something like that, but it's just a meter that shows you the distance. I got it set to millimeters. This thing has caused me more troubles. You just put on the tire, you go to the string, and you can level it. It's like, okay, that looks really good. And you go to the string, I can't tell when I'm touching the string. My old eyes aren't working right. And this thing just drove me nuts. I went to the basic ruler. You put that up there, I can look down, and I can tell I'm at 80 millimeters. Up here, 79 millimeters. I got 1 millimeter toe in. Spec on this is 0.7 millimeter. Okay, we're good. Go all around once you get the thing square. I like the mechanical ruler better. I'm going to keep messing with the digital gauge because it's more accurate, because this one doesn't have gradations of a millimeter. It's 1 millimeter is the lowest it goes. just a point. If this comes with the kit, I would suggest keeping a metal ruler. All right. Smart String gives you this nice little aluminum spindle, thimble, whatever it is, of neon green monofilament string. It's great. I have set this up in my car 3 times now and tried to wind it back up on this 3 times. It takes forever. I've tried putting a screwdriver in there and it just, I spent, you're going to see in a few minutes, the $8 each on Amazon and bought Zebco fishing reel, spliced the line in the end, put 20 feet on there to the end. I didn't even pull the fishing line off. I just spliced it on, put 20 feet. It's much, much better. All right. Now, I want repeatability. So I have this thing set up. Let's see, is this the front or the back? This is the front. You can see, let me make sure you can see. Yeah, you can see. I Sharpied the heck out of this thing. I got each one marked. This is the left front, right front. I got the cross. This is all assembled. It takes me, from the time these things are all in pieces, oh, hurt the Miata. From the time all those individual pieces of the erector set, let me change the zoom, go to this side of the car. I took these off the other day and I knew I was going to be doing this video. Okay. Now that's my center spot. You have to be lined up side to side and height-wise. So, I'll get my Zebcos out. Guess I could just push it on down the... Yeah. So, I'll put a loop on the end. I have found that the Porsche 4th groove over one, two, three, 4th groove over, increase the gain some. Okay, now I got to do the same thing on the other side. It looks almost parallel. I'll measure in a second. But do the same thing over here. But the Zebcos make it a lot easier. But I do like the neon green wire, or string, because I can see it really well on the ruler. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let me find my ruler. So from the middle of this wheel, I am at 96 millimeters. Nope, 97. See if I can get this all in one picture. Yeah. Same spot on this wheel. I am at 92. So I gotta come this way just a hair. Let's where that gets us. That is 96. $97. So less of a hair this way now. Just ever so slight. That might have been too much. $90. $97. That one's 97. Ooh, that one's 97. Okay. Then you got to do the same thing in the front. But the measurements are going to be different because the front track is thinner. But once you do all this, I don't hit anything, then let's see what this one is. $103. $99. So I've already got the vertical set because I've done this several times. That's what all my markings are for. Front end. Right at 100. So 10 centimeters, 100 millimeters. Uh, 104. This way some more. No, other way. 102. Is that right? Okay. We're too high. This side's too high. Now we're right. 102. 101. I haven't checked my steering wheel. The steering wheel is just a hair off. Oh yeah. Put your windows down before you start this. Because now I can't get to my steering wheel. Can't open the door. Little tidbits here. But see how I got it square. Once I get the steering wheel exactly level, it's just a hair off. I'll have to undo the string so I'm not crawling in through the back hatch. Get inside, put the window down, get the steering wheel block on there, measure again, then I can measure toe. Like right now I'm at 85, 85. But I can't see it well. I'm like 85 and a half. But the steering wheel's turned to the left a little bit. So it's going to be off. I'm really close. Anyway, first time I did it, it took me, I'm going to say 20 minutes and end just to get the thing right height, right off the, hanging on the car. Now, with the markings I have with the Sharpie on all the pieces, what was that, 10 minutes to run the string and get it squared? My steering wheel was right, it would be squared. Then you can start doing all your measurements. So, smart string toe setup. I like this because I got the parking brake on, but I can move the car. I can move the car front to back. I can drive up on the ramps. I can pick it up, whatever I got to do, and the measurements stay the same. So, and the car does drive better now too. It actually gets better mileage by about half a mile a gallon since I redid all my settings. I will have other videos about how to do adjustments and all the crazy things you can do with alignment.